Hello there, I'm Denise Richardson, and this is Howdini.com. For those of you who've ever had the boss from hell, we're going to let you know how to deal with them right now. Our guest is Maggie Mistal. She's a life purpose and career coach, and you can hear her regularly on Martha Stewart Living Radio on Sirius. There are some bosses who the only way they can communicate is to yell, to scream, and to carry on tantrums. How do you deal with that?
It is a challenging situation, Denise, and unfortunately, a lot of people find themselves with these overly demanding bosses, or even, in the worst case, bosses who scream and yell. So what I try to tell my clients is to really just relax and try not to take it personally.
Here's the difficulty. That person may have a history of that kind of behavior. So when you come into an office, you're going, well, that's Sam Smith, and Sam's a screamer and a yeller. But not necessarily everybody gets the same behavior from Sam.
Right.
And so what kind of a person elicits a different response?
If you're someone who can keep your cool around the boss, no matter what he or she says, and doesn't overreact to what they're saying, but can keep your cool, they don't get the reaction. It's not as much fun for them, or whatever it is they're getting out of screaming and yelling.
Let's graduate to sexual harassment on the job. There are a lot of young, beautiful women on the job. Young being
and
the
men too.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't mean it like that. I'm just saying men can get sexually harassed too.
Yeah, and there's they don't know how to handle it because they're looking to move up in the company, and so there's that intimidation factor. So how do you handle it in a way that lets that person know you've crossed the line with me, and I have a line that you can't cross?
Right. You know, if you get the sense that this is a one-time thing, person made a slip of the tongue or something stupid, you know, you can kind of look at them and say, ha ha, Joe, yeah, that was really funny. You know, let's keep those kind of jokes to ourselves in the future, you know, kind of laugh it off, and it's a one-time thing. Then you can, you know, think about letting it go. But if this is a systemic problem where consistently the person is either coming on to you or making inappropriate remarks or posts inappropriate things either online or sends you inappropriate emails or text messages or phone messages, that's a deeper problem, and you really have to protect yourself by going to HR and letting them know the situation. I also tell people who are in any of these situations to document what's going on, because the company is going to want to know the documentation, and for your own protection, you're going to want to make sure you're documenting the realities of the situation, because the worst thing that can happen is that you start to get blamed for any of this happening as well.
There's the boss that you can do nothing right for. I mean, that boss is going to complain about everything. You're going to give in a project, and it's just he has to or she has to change it. How do you handle it's criticism, but it can be demoralizing criticism.
Yes, and defeating, and it can really take its toll on your self-esteem over time. And you know, when you think about your persona in the work world, your self-esteem is something you want to really protect. So I have a serious conversation with people who are in these types of situations to say, do you really think this is a place you should be staying? You know, can you find another position within the company with perhaps a different manager, someone who is going to support you and encourage you? And if for whatever reason they feel they can't move on, I at least say, find a mentor, find somebody else who can tell you the real quality of your work, both constructive criticism, yes, but also the positives of what you're doing. Because unless you get that positive feedback somewhere, slowly but surely, your confidence will erode, and that'll start to affect your possibilities in your career and your future.
So in your demeanor in the office, demeanor is important.
Absolutely. I mean, I coach people to always be professional. No matter what anyone else says or does, you always have control over being a professional.
And if you don't like the job, leave it.
Yeah, and if you don't like the manager, leave it too. Your manager, studies have shown that your manager is the #1 determinant of your job satisfaction. So that person usually won't change their spots per se. So rather than try to change your manager, perhaps it's better to change your job, either within the company or somewhere else where you can be a better fit with that next manager that you have.
Oh, you're so good, Maggie Mistal. Thank you so much for being with us.